Okay, so how do we get to #1 on the Google search results? Now, I'm sure you know this is one of the best ways to generate leads since about 30% of people who search on Google will always click the #1 spot. It's also super helpful because if you have a Google Maps listing or a Google business profile, having your website ranked at #1 or close to #1 is one of the best ways to boost that Maps listing in the map results as well. So it's like a double boost kind of thing, because you're going to get leads from your website and you're going to get leads from the map, right? And I know from personal experience that trying to do SEO can be a horrible, long-winded, miserable, bottomless pit if you get lost. So from my 3 years of struggle and experience, I'm just going to give you all the easy stuff, the 80-20 kind of principles to get the biggest boost in your search rankings. Like, honestly, this is all you really need to do. You don't need to worry too much about other stuff. So I'm going to give you all of that in this video so you can boost your website as fast as possible and start getting leads without losing your hair. Okay, so keeping this brief, I'm not going to waste any of your time. Let's jump straight into it. This is literally the SEO SOP template I use at my marketing agency. We help contractors get more leads through Google, Facebook, everything. And this has worked really well. I've ranked dozens, if not hundreds at this point, websites at #1 across the USA and other countries too. And this is the SEO template that I've kind of developed that works the best for us at our agency, right? So just starting off, the first thing you're going to want to do is keyword research, because it's going to be pretty hard to rank if you don't know what keywords you're actually trying to rank for, right? So I'm not going to go too much into that. You can find advice on YouTube. If you want me to send you our research sheet and how we do that, DM or comment or DM me and I'll send that right over to you. We also pair this up with Google Ads quite often, which is why I have that there. But anyways, jumping straight into that. So first thing you're going to want to do is identify the top 5 money keywords to put on your homepage, because your homepage is really going to carry the SEO for you here. So when I say top 5 money keywords, let's give remodeling as an example, right? One of your top keywords might be remodelers near me, right? That might have a lot of search volume. Or another one, if you live in Jacksonville, North Carolina, right? Let's say remodelers, Jacksonville, NC. That might be a big money keyword. That kind of format usually is. So I'd say do research, find those kind of keywords, identify the top 5 with the most volume, do some competitor research too. So what that means is checking like how much competition there actually is for those keywords. And you're going to want to choose the best ones that you can easily rank for and are going to bring in a ton of leads, right? Because you don't want to rank for some pointless keywords that aren't, like remodeling materials. That's completely useless. That's not going to get you any leads, right? So you're going to want to do that research. Again, if you want help with that, just shoot me an email or comment below and I'll reach out to you. So in terms of how we actually do that, I'm going to show you an example of a website that our client left for, so we never actually completed it, but I basically built it all out, because I'm not going to show you any active clients because I don't want anything messing up with our SEO stuff. But yeah, so this is the on-page system that I want you to follow to a T. If you do all of this stuff, I promise you, like, you will be golden. If any SEO nerds are watching this, you know how valuable this list is right here. So just to jump straight into it. So the first thing you're going to want to do is optimize your meta title, including your main keyword and the city, right? As well as in the URL as well. And what your meta title is kind of what actually shows up on Google. So let me show you an example. So I'm going to use Naples as an example here, but you can see we got Ross Carter Fence here, and then they've got their description. So this is kind of the meta title, and then this is the description. And this is important because this is like one of the main things that Google's looking at when it's just trying to decide who to put at #1. This isn't very good. This company probably has a great local reputation, so it's going to work well for them. But if you don't have a good reputation, what you want to do is something more like this, right? You want to put your money keywords like Naples, fence, like the location. You want to put all of that in the title so that Google can actually see that. So again, look, this guy's gone fence companies, Naples, Florida, right? So that's the kind of thing you're going to want to put in there. And then again, put the keywords into the description too, okay? So coming back to the SOP, So once you've taken care of that, that's big. This is big as well. Again, kind of copywriting, which means, you know, you're trying to actually sell yourself a little bit, but you just want to mention the keyword. Next up, you're going to want to include your target keyword into your H1 tags. I'll show you what that looks like real quick. So this is a website that's not actually live right now. Like I said, we built it, but we never published it or did anything with it. So I've removed the client's logo up there for privacy reasons. But when I say H1, hold up. Okay, you can probably see a bit better. I've got a Chrome extension right now that shows you the tags on a page, pretty helpful. But you can see here, fence company, Naples, Florida. That's the keyword we chose. And you can see this is my H1, right? And then I've also structured my H tags. This is very important if you don't know what this means. So it just means you want your H tags to be in like a nicely descending order. So you would never have H2 followed by H1. If you're going to have H1, you always follow it with an H2. You know what I'm saying? And then down here we have H3. So H2, you always follow it up with an H3. Because if you do like a H3 and then an H2, that looks really bad in the eyes of Google. So you really don't want to do that. And then you can see on the rest of this page, I've just kept them all as H3s because it doesn't make that much of a difference if it's just all 3, 3, 3. It's just you don't want something higher above it. So again, you can see here H3, then H4, right? So that's kind of how you want to set it up. Now back to the guide. So once you've titled your tags like that, H1 is the king. That's why we've got it all the way at number 3. Super important to include those keywords in there. So next up, we're gonna be looking at content now. So I've experimented with this, having content versus kind of having something more markety like this. I think the content thing kind of works a bit better, and this is what I mean by content. I like this though too, because it just shows anyone who actually looks at your website all the services immediately. But again, I've got a keyword straight up here, but let's assume this was up here because that's kind of what I do more often these days. Like my main keyword, boom, is the first thing right there. And then do we have any more keywords? And then again, this is a H title, but again, we've got another keyword in there, and then another keyword in there, and then another keyword in there, and I'm sure another keyword in here, and there's probably 1 or 2 more. But have something like this on the first 100 words. You don't want to overstuff your page with keywords. Don't just spam fence company, fence company, fence company, because that just looks bad. I'd say in terms of keyword density, 1% is pretty solid. That means out of all the keywords, all the words on your page, 1% of them is a keyword. Don't go above that basically. So that's a pretty good way to set it out. Now, next up in your subsequent titles, you're going to want to include long tail keywords. So that just means mixing your keyword into something longer. So instead of fence company, Naples, Florida, I put the best fence company in Naples, Florida, right? And yeah, fence installation services in Naples, Florida. So it's not quite just a copy paste of a keyword. You're actually turning it into a title. So it's good to do that for your H2s, your H3s, because again, Google pays attention. Privacy fencing, Naples, Florida, right? So just mixing it up a bit. So jumping back to our list, we've covered this and this and this. Now, obviously, you're going to want to mention, especially as a contractor, all the kinds of services that you offer. So showing you on our fencing example, down here we got wood fencing, chain link fencing, metal fencing, vinyl, all gates, and fence repairs. I could have made this more detailed, but this is pretty much for fencing. If you know, like this is definitely the 80-20 covered. So make sure you do that, very important, because Google pays attention. You want to include like the locations, and you can use zip codes and stuff like that if you want to be super specific. I'll show you what I do. So let me move myself out of the way. So yeah, I basically just list off all the nearby areas, get a map. If you have a GMB, you can actually integrate your map pack directly into this page. Again, if you need help with that, let me know. But I just tend to list out all the nearby areas. I could like list out all the Naples zip codes here too. That would probably help in this case, but as you can see, this is from last year. I don't really tend to do that stuff anymore. So yeah. Now, the stuff I've just said there, that really is the powerful stuff. Like that makes a massive difference. This too, having alt text for your images. I don't know if I can show you. I can't show you on this page right now, but basically all that means is on your website builder, there will be an option to add what's called alt text onto your images. And what you want to do for that is you just want to title it based on those top 5 keywords once again, because basically what you want to do with SEO is you actually want to rank on Google images as well. So let's say I titled this picture Fence Company, Naples, Florida. Once it ranks, what's going to start to happen is if I search on Google Images, Fence Company, Naples, Florida, this picture is going to come up. And any other pictures that I label with similar titles are going to start to come up there too. The more pictures that rank, the higher your website ranks. So it's like you just want everything to rank. And the way you do that is just by telling Google what keywords are what. So then it knows what to promote, right? And you want to just make sure that's clear. So I might call this picture Privacy Fence in Naples, Florida. Vinyl Fence Company, Naples, Florida, right? So just making sure everything's completely relevant. Now, another thing that helps is using video too. So if you have any videos of your jobs or you guys on site, put at least one of those on the website too. You don't need to put it too high up. It's just so Google can see that there's a video. And then again, name the file something with a good keyword in it too. That's really the bulk of the stuff. The rest of it, this is kind of what I said. The rest of this stuff is very helpful too. FAQs, it helps with content. I'll show you what I mean. We got some FAQs down here. FAQs down here. We got a little fencing guide here. So this is something quite nice to do too. Again, it just gives you an opportunity to have more content. So given all the stuff that I've said, that's kind of like the setup, but a very, very powerful tool is to have a good base of content on your homepage. And one of the ways you actually compete, so in Naples, for example, there's hefty competition. We can see that on the search page here, right? We can see a lot of different companies here. So let's say I went on Southern Gate and Fence, let's say that, and I look on their page and they only have, let's say, 1,000 words of content on this page, right? Or looks like even less than that. If I wanted to try and outrank them, part of what I would have to do is have more content. So if my page has 1,000 words of content, they only have 500 words, my page is going to rank higher based on content, right? So you want to have a good chunk of content on your website. So you can see we've got all of this content here. You can use AI to generate it, but I would say like make it useful, make it good quality, maybe try touch it up yourself a little bit. Don't just slap copy paste AI without using your brain at all. I've actually built some really good prompts recently for writing AI content, which I can again send you over. Again, comment AI if you want access to that, because it makes ChatGPT, because ChatGPT is so generic. So once you use a prompt like that, it makes it so much more targeted and useful. So again, comment AI if you want me to send you that over, and I'll send you a document directly, because I don't want everyone having access to that, because we still use it these days. But so yeah, just a bunch of content is so helpful. Again, FAQs, little guides like this, about different services you offer. It's all good ways to fill out useful content that customers might actually want to read, right? So that kind of covers the FAQs, the why choose us, unique selling points. They're kind of marketing points anyway. Yeah, okay, cool. So adding a schema, I'm not going to talk too much about this because this is kind of one of those like super nerd things that would take a whole video in itself to explain. You can just look up videos, or I might make a video about this myself. Let me know if you want that. But this is very helpful because basically what it does is when it's just a way of directly telling Google everything about your company. So then it can position you as the top company in the area. Let me see if I can find an example here for you. Okay, so this is a perfect example. If you build a schema and install it onto your website, which is kind of like a code snippet, this is what will pop up when you put in something on Google, right? So Jackson Fence Company, they've told Google that this is what they're called, and they've built this out really nicely. So this just pops up. which is obviously super damn helpful if someone is searching, because you're not going to click any of this stuff, are you? You're not even going to look. You're just going to click call directly here. So schemas are super helpful because you're just telling Google directly what you want. In terms of the remaining stuff, adding an address. So this is important for your map section too. It's called a map, which means name, address, phone number. And I don't know if I've done it on this site because of the nature of the client that we had, but basically you could just have somewhere around here the name of the business, the address of the business that's on your map section, on your Google business profile, and the phone number. Have that lined up in the same order. And then every time you mention your company on the internet, so if you use Yelp or Facebook, you write it in the same order, because it's just, again, a signal that tells Google, hey, this is a real company. This is how many times it's shown up on the internet. Okay, it must be legit. Let's rank it higher. It's kind of like in high school where you have social status, where like everyone knows about you, so you become more popular. It's kind of the same thing. The more times your name, address, phone number is mentioned on the internet, you become more popular in Google's eyes, right? So you want to add that. Again, if you don't have a Facebook page, make one, add it. Super helpful. And then what you can also do is, I haven't done that here, but you can build location pages, right? So if I had, let's say, because Naples is nearby Fort Myers, so let's say I built another page on the same website and I called it #1 Fence Company, Fort Myers, Florida, and then did exactly the same thing. That's such a powerful thing to do, because now you're ranking for multiple cities around your area, right? That's really going to help you swallow up all the leads in the area, because the more quality websites you have that rank highly, the more your original website will rank highly, because again, it kind of builds, everything you do builds on itself here. That's why it's so hard to compete with some of these big companies, because they're doing everything right. And if you're doing nothing right, you just have no chance. But if you start doing all the right things, you will get the right results back. So super helpful thing to do. This video is getting kind of long, so I'll quickly brush over. This is on-page SEO. I'll quickly talk about off-page SEO. 80-20 stuff you're going to do is, I can't explain this, so if you want more help, comment down below, but you can link across pages, right? So link your installation page to your service page to your home. Just link them all so the links flow. Again, don't worry too much about why. You want to link to high authority external sites. So if there's a fence blog, link your website to that reputable site, because again, it's just like, it's the status game. It's by association. Your website looks better if it's connected to this big popular website, right? Use before and afters. There's other stuff here. I don't think I want to show that in this video. So other stuff you want to do is get citations, get your business on Yelp. If you want us to help you build that out, we can get you across 50 to 100 different citations if you want, super easily. But if you want to do it yourself, you can manually build a Yelp profile, build a Facebook profile, do it all one by one. That's very, very helpful for your map section too. The other thing is getting backlinks. Again, not going to discuss backlinks too much here, but high quality backlinks really help, because looking at Naples here, let's look at Jackson here. Now, there's so many websites, and let's say this, let's go on this page, right? Let's say this page had great content. They did everything else right, but they're still all the way down here. So what can they do to get higher? One of the things you can do is building good backlinks. That's going to help get your page higher and higher, because again, it's just more points on the internet pointing to your website, right? So that's pretty much everything for the guide. Like I said, focus on your on page, especially those first points I made initially. Just use the guide that I've used there. I literally use that for clients who pay me every single month. So if you're trying to rank your website for your business, just do that. It will help. There's a ton more stuff you can do, but it's a lot more complicated. You might need help with it. So if you want anything like that, you can reach out to me. We can do all of this stuff for you, plus all the complicated stuff. Make it super convenient so you can just focus on running your business, and we'll take care of all of the rest of it for you, because that's what we do. If you want that AI blueprint guide, the AI prompts for ChatGPT, comment AI down below. I'll send it directly to you. And yeah, if you need any other advice or have any other questions, comment down below. And yeah, subscribe if you want more value.